Hello and welcome back to the Figures and Flippy Shit Wrestling Podcast, the podcast that covers all of the major North American wrestling during the week that you don't have time to watch. So I'm Chris, this is Susan, and we're just going to go ahead and dive in and get started. We'll start with the Bloodline.
Of course.
Now listen, anybody who's listened to this podcast knows I love the Bloodline. The Bloodline did not need 40 minutes on SmackDown. It didn't. What it felt like to me is that they did the opening segment, which was the trial of Roman Reigns, and then there was like a scuffle and a beatdown, and there's some nice teasing with Roman having the Warriors lay. Yeah. I should break it down a little further. So basically, Roman acted like he didn't want any of this. Jay showed a video of Roman being the most awful person in the world.
Yes.
And Roman cried crocodile tears, real tears, so good for you, Roman, to be able to pull that. And he gave Jay his lay. And then he knelt down in front of Jay. Jay leaned down to make him feel better. And then he low-blowed Jay. And that started kind of a domino beatdown where Jimmy just kind of couldn't believe it for a minute. And then Jimmy ran over and started attacking Roman. Solo waited a little bit. And then Solo ran over and pulled Jimmy off. Well, in the middle of this fracas, the Warriors lay ends up in the middle of the ring. At one point, Solo's standing there and he's looking at it. And Jimmy runs over and he grabs Jimmy, hits him with a Samoan spike, and just obliterates him. And then Solo picks it up, and he's looking at it for a good while. And he's looking at it, and Roman walks over, and Roman's like, you can give that back to me now. And Solo holds on to it for a little bit longer, and when it looks like Solo's going to give it to Roman, Jimmy jumps out, attacks Solo and Roman at the same time. The attack keeps happening. Well, eventually, Jimmy gets wasted, essentially, by Roman and Solo. Jimmy ends up going to the hospital, which is what they reported. They took him out on a stretcher and everything else. They took him to the hospital, and Jay went with him. That was segment one. That, I think, would have been enough for this week.
You kind of forgot some of the Solo stuff, too. Because at one point in time, Heyman had said that only one person can make him stop talking. Solo then covered up Heyman's mouth and made him stop talking.
Yeah, he grabbed the mic and then he threw it.
There's like constant Solo and Roman, like, who's really in charge, and like they kind of keep like giving each other glances. Like Roman stares Solo down a lot, Solo stares him down a lot.
And kudos to the crowd. The crowd brought it for this segment because they cheered for Roman.
Solo. My only thing is that whenever the crowd cusses, they bleep them out, which I give Bloodline a lot of props because they kind of stopped talking when they cuss, and then like Roman would kind of redirect the crowd. But it's just like, it's a cuss word. It's not like you're murdering somebody. Yeah. It's a cuss word. And and if you're not doing it for children, I guarantee you children are hearing cuss words, even if parents don't want to admit it.
Yeah. Like, it's like you're okay with them watching Solo put his own brothers through hell and send one to the hospital, but we better not hear shit while it's going on. Like, it's annoying, and it really takes me out of the show because then it's just dead silence for a while. WWE, find a different way to do it.
Yeah.
Find a different way. I understand that your sponsors are fucking bitches, and, you know, in this society, we can't handle shit or fuck or, you know, words. But, you know, we'll put UFC on TV, we'll put blood on TV, we'll put sex and, you know, anything that Law & Order SVU has showed. But heaven forbid we use the naughty words. Cut it out, society. Come on.
My God. Who is
the raging It annoys me because it just goes dead fucking silent and I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. It really bugs me.
I can tell.
I told you I had some gripes with WWE today. And that's one.
I'm usually the one that's like raging about stuff.
We'll get to it because I'm about ready to file a missing persons report on WWE for a few people. We'll get that here in a minute. So basically, that was segment one of Bloodline. That would have been fine. That would have been enough.
Yes, and then just do the second part next week.
Yeah, so the next...
Have Roman show up 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, heaven forbid. This definitely smelt like Roman was like, I'm going to give you one show, so do everything you want to do in that one show, and then I'm fucking off till SummerSlam. And it really showed. Which breaks my heart because I love the Bloodline, but there was too much of it this week. It got in the way. There was no women's matches on SmackDown. LA Knight was fucking MIA after the response he got at Money in the Bank.
This is actually why Chris is the most upset. His LA Knight was not on TV.
No, like Like, it prevented so many other things from getting on TV.
Yeah.
The women had one side. The women this week, it was booked like an AEW show.
Yeah.
The women were booked on SmackDown like an AEW show, which is not a compliment. So anyway, we come back to the second segment. Jay comes back. He's pissed at Roman. He says he's got to come after Roman because he took his brother from him. And I am going to take a second to say a positive thing out of this. Yes, Roman's the big story. Sammy really got over. But Jey Uso has really crushed this whole bloodline thing.
He definitely has.
Like, he, to me, is the standout of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let me pause my rant to throw some praise at Jey Uso because he freaking deserves it.
You just sound so angry.
I am. SmackDown was good, but it pissed me off. So anyway, Jay comes back, says he's got to come after Roman. There's another scuffle. Well, eventually, Jay ends up in the ring with the undisputed Universal Championship. God, that sounds redundant. Jay picks it up, holds it up to Roman, and he says that he wants to challenge him one-on-one. Cool. We're going to get Jay and Roman at SummerSlam for the title. I'm into it. I like it. This is where we started. I like where it's going. But you really could have saved this for next week, and Roman could have showed up one more week and then fucked off to SummerSlam. Just my 2 cents on that. I still like the story. I still like where it's going, but it took up a lot more SmackDown than it needed to this week.
I agree. It did. I even said that. I was like, this literally took up 45 minutes of a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Not even a 2-hour show with commercials. Like, an hour and a half show took up 45 minutes.
Yeah. And I know it's your big story, and you want to push the people that, are bringing in your views and bringing in your money. But let me just say, LA Knight's your 4th biggest merch mover, WWE, after Roman, Cody, and Stone Cold. Put that son of a bitch on TV, or if you're going to fumble him away like you did Rusev, and then we're all going to lose faith that you know what to do with stars.
I mean, they wouldn't really lose my faith because it's one person out of how many in their locker room. However,
how much more over is he than the rest of the locker room?
However, though, there was no reason for the bloodline to be like that long because my biggest gripe for however long now has been that Roman Reigns takes up too much time from focus from everybody else. Mm-hmm. So that'd be my gripe, is that it's just too much is focused on Roman Reigns and not enough time on the other talent that you have, and who honestly might be more talented than Roman. Roman is very good at what he does, but in ring he's not the most talented they have. So, like, in my opinion, I don't feel like you agree with that statement.
No, I still think in the ring he's pretty top tier.
I mean, his moves are pretty simple, though, which I'm not knocking that.
Yeah, but for Roman's matches, it's not about the moves; it's about the story he's telling.
Well, I care about the moves, though. Mm-hmm. So, like, I like stories. I really like stories. Gimmicks are what get me in, but I like the wrestling too. So, like, if I feel like your wrestling's lacking a little bit, I'm not going to think you're one of the best.
So that's why you like Kenny Omega, because Kenny Omega tells stories and has moves.
Kenny Omega's not even one of my favorites. So, I mean, I like him.
Yeah, but he kind of seems like the perfect prototype of what you're looking for.
Honestly, I think of Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
That's who I don't think of Kenny Omega. Maybe I should, honestly.
Cody.
I don't think of Cody. I think of Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
But that's who my favorite is. But I just don't. I think Roman is a draw because of his like storyline. Anybody can go jerk the Smurf like he does.
You might want to elaborate what that means.
Move. I don't even know what the move is.
When he cocks his wrist for
I don't know
Superman
what it
punch.
is. I just feel like he's jerking a Smurf. I've always thought that for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know where you got that.
The first time I saw him do that move, I was like, he's jerking a Smurf. I don't know why I thought that. For years, I've thought that.
It doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to let you have it because you've had it for years.
I have had that for years and years since we started wrestling. Well, since I started watching wrestling. He's always just jerked the Smurf.
Yeah. But yeah, basically my conclusion is I still love the Bloodline story. I still love where it's going, but goddamn it didn't need 40 minutes on SmackDown.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I always think that Roman gets a lot more time than he needs. So I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with his schedule. And I understand, he's got a lot going on. He's got five children. But at the same time, if he was there more consistently, you wouldn't have to use as much time on him. He could do little things like everybody else does.
Or, like, if he didn't want to come back next week, you could have, like, pre-taped a segment. and then shown it next week. That's what they did for Rollins in an interview. I know that they were fighting more, but they could have done like maybe like the trial of him backstage for like a pre-tape segment and like.
I tell you what, they needed the crowd for the tribal court. But no, what I would love to see is like unhinged Roman from like a throne that he's created, like somewhere in his house where he's like, he looks like a chief. Like I want him to have it completely consume him. He could film that shit from his house.
One thing though, you said they were going to fight like they did on Black Panther though?
Yeah, because Jay said trial by combat. Basically, they're fighting
where they're literally like all the scene where like in Black Panther where they're like on the rocks and everybody's on the rocks watching, and then like they show somebody over a cliff or some shit. Is that what they're doing?
No. I was saying it's that story though. Like whoever wins the fight pretty much gets to run things.
I thought you meant they were going to do like that fight scene.
No. And
I was like, whoa.
No, that would look really cool.
I know.
But
I mean, granted, I knew nobody's going to get thrown off an actual cliff, but I was kind of.
I mean, Baron Corbin threw Rey Mysterio off of Titan Towers. So, but no, that's not. I didn't mean literally. I just meant that it's like they're doing the Black Panther style of determining who's in charge.
That's literally what I thought whenever because you said it right after they announced like the match or what.
It was when Jay said it's trial by combat,
and I literally thought I thought whenever you said just like Black Panther, I thought you meant we were going to get something where they're fighting on rocks or something, and like. No. That's what I thought.
No, that would be cool, but no.
I know. That's why I was like, that's really cool. That seemed like something AEW would do.
Yeah, like, or NXT.
Yes.
I feel like it's more in NXT's wheelhouse.
True.
Because NXT, you experimental little baby, you. But yeah, so Roman has now taken up 13 minutes of our podcast, so I think we can move on to someone else.
You were angry.
I told you I had some gripes with WWE, and I'm not done. All right, so Rollins comes out, beginning of Raw, and it's kind of feeling like it's time for a new challenger.
Right, he's talking about how it's Monday Night Rollins and how he was like, I think did he call for a new challenger? No,
he's just out there talking.
I'm getting confused. Some people call for open challenges, some people don't.
Yeah.
I barely keep the titles straight, so like, I'm not going to keep track of...
Well, anyway. Rollins is out there. Cody comes out, which I get super excited because I'm like, I love when these two fight, and it's been long enough. I wouldn't mind watching them fight one more time.
It's just I don't want Rollins to lose.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen based on what happened next.
I know. And that was my thought.
I thought about Jey Uso's acting. I love the over-the-topness of Cody. Cody to me sometimes is such a cartoon character, and I love him for it because he's out there and he's like, he says so what do you want to talk about? And then Brock Lesnar's music hits, and Cody just gets this angry look on his face. And it's funny because Corey Graves said the same thing that I've been saying forever, that Rollins and Cody kind of have a Batman Joker vibe because Cody takes himself so seriously, and Rollins is just out in the wind doing whatever the hell he wants. Which I see it.
Rollins is just like doing his own thing. His goofy laugh, which I love his goofy laugh. I just love Rollins in general.
Mm-hmm. But so Brock comes out, Cody just gets this scowl on his face. Like he's like, God damn it. And then he just leaves Rollins and goes after Brock, and him and Brock go at it for a while. And I think they ended up getting separated, I think, by people. And Rollins just kind of walked out of the ring, and it's funny because I told you during the show, I was like, it's funny they bring up the Batman Joker vibe because it's literally like Batman's finally had the chance to confront the Joker, and Bane just blew up a building, and now he's got to go address it.
Yeah.
So we're still doing Brock and Cody, which I kind of figured they were going to have their blow off at SummerSlam. I honestly think those two, based on the first two matches and the fact that this is the third blow off match, I would love to see, and I think these two could put it together and put it together pretty easily. I would love to see a 15-minute 5-star match out of those two.
Yeah.
I think they could do it. I think they're both more than capable of doing that. I really want them to reach their potential. I want them to steal the show at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be rough with with Jimmy and Roman probably main eventing.
Yeah.
But I would love to have Cody and Brock steal the show. I think they could do it. Give them 15 minutes, and I guarantee you they can get to 4.5, 5 stars.
Yeah.
Easily. Well, after that, Rollins came back out, and we're still picking fights with the Judgment Day. So we're done with Finn. and we've moved on. He's going to fight Dom because Priest is fighting.
Priest was with him. Or Priest fought Shinsuke.
That's right. Priest fought Shinsuke, which was a pretty good match.
Which was funny because was it this week or last week where Judgment Day was out and Rollins was like, "Who's going to fight me?" And they all looked at Rhea. Was that this week?
Yeah, that was this week because
I don't know
Priest
why
had
I
a
loved
match.
that.
Rhea said she had to defend her title against Natty.
Yeah.
So it was left Dom.
Yeah, because it was very funny because after Priest was like, "Well, I'm not going to be the one to fight you." Like, Priest, Dom, Dominic, and Seth Rollins all look at Rhea Ripley. Like,
Yeah.
Are you fighting me? And I don't know why, I just love that Rhea... I don't like how they're booking Rhea with the women, but I like how they're booking her with men.
No, but something good happened with Rhea in the women's division this week, and we'll get to it here in a minute. So anyway, Rollins fights Dom in the main event of Raw, and of course Priest is teasing his cash in. They get Rollins beaten down. Prime time for Priest to cash in. Finn Balor comes in and runs it all up the wall.
Yes.
And so we're definitely still doing some infighting between Finn and Priest.
Yeah. I'm just bummed because I wasn't ready for Judgment Day to break up. But I guess it's better to break up when I'm not ready for it. And then instead of me being over them.
Yeah, see, that's what I think too. I think when it comes to factions, I think it's better if you're like, man, I would have loved to have seen more, than to be like, oh man, this has run its course.
True. So I guess I
think it helps to be remembered more fondly.
So yeah.
Yeah, and Judgment Day has been a lot of fun, and I really like them.
I just worry once they break up, like, I don't know if they're able to. I feel like some of them might sink. Like Dominic.
I think Dominic will be fine. I think they'll keep Rhea with him.
Good. I really like them together.
Yeah, I think Rhea will stay with Dom.
Because they're just they're viral hits with stuff. Like the little goofy shit that they do is a big hit. I enjoy it. I don't want them to. I don't want Dominic and Rhea to like break apart.
Yeah. Well, I think too that Finn might pair off with JD McDonough. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
JD McDonough.
Yes.
I had like a hiccup coming.
Who has been wrestling on Main Event?
Okay, because he's on my missing persons list.
He's
for
been
WWE.
on Main Event Wrestling.
Yeah, basically my missing persons list this week for WWE. Where's JD McDonough? Where's the Unholy Union? I feel like you called them up just to lose their titles to Ronda and Shayna.
Right, like you
and LA Knight, we're not going back into.
Like the Unholy Union, you had them in a good match. They competed very well, and then, but didn't they just have their match last week, or was it 2 weeks ago?
It was 2 weeks ago.
I mean, it's only been 2 weeks, so like. If it's like a month, and then I'm gonna be like, where the hell are they?
Well, I'm just gonna say you probably could have had them on SmackDown if the Bloodline didn't take up 40 minutes.
Or you could have left them on NXT.
Yeah, you could have done that.
Yes.
Yeah, you definitely could have done that.
Yes.
Especially since the NXT tag titles aren't even a thing anymore.
No.
Like they said they were gonna unify them, and then like those titles just disappeared.
Yeah.
I don't know. NXT, get your women another title. Your women's division is too damn good to only get one belt.
Yes.
Speaking of the women, the singles titles for the women. So Rhea had a damn good match on Raw with Natty.
And I want to point out that I think it was in the last episode we were talking about how Natty just wasn't cutting it. And I will tell you what, Natty came out Natty killed it this week, I feel like.
Her and Rhea put on a great
And Rhea
match.
bled. I love when women bleed. Rhea bleeding looked badass. So I wouldn't. And Rhea, I say I wouldn't want to mess with Rhea with the blood. I didn't even want to mess with Rhea when she posed in front of me for me to take her picture. I froze. She is so scary. She is so intimidating in person.
But yeah, those two. Yeah, Natty helps you remember why she's been around so long, why she's so highly thought of.
Yes.
That was a fantastic match that those two put on.
Good match.
That's the match they should have put on pay-per-view.
Yeah, they definitely Natty needs more matches like that. Rhea needs more matches that.
I'm thinking with more of the focus of the in-ring work that WWE seems to be going with their matches being more high quality, I'm really seeing the possibility that Natty, at the end of her career, is going to put on a string of fantastic matches on her way out the door.
I mean, Natty already helps train a lot. like in the Heart Dungeon. Like, she trains people already.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that's more Natty's role at this point anyway, like in her point in her career. She's been around for a while. I think her role is kind of more of a trainer. Like, she still wrestles, but I think her role is more like teaching the younger talent.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, she was one of the ones that was at the head of the training for Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
So,
which I wouldn't brag on that too much, but...
Yeah, I mean, although at Money in the Bank, I mean, Ronda put on a good show there.
It's easy to look good when you have 3 other people supporting you.
That's true. Well, we'll see how it looks coming out.
Look at her first match at WrestleMania. She had the older people with her, and she still looked okay because she had other talent making her look better.
Yeah.
So.
Well, speaking of the... well, we haven't even gone into the others women's single title. So Asuka's the champion over on SmackDown. And she came out, started to cut a promo. Bianca Belair came out, beat her up. Charlotte came out, beat both of them up. They said that Bianca's going to fight Asuka next week for the title. I think it's going to be a reverse of what happened before. Charlotte's going to interfere and cost Bianca her shot.
Yeah.
We're going to get the triple threat at SummerSlam.
Yeah, it's just kind of...
We're going to get the triple threat at SummerSlam. Charlotte's going to win title number 15, and then Io's going to cash in.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
So that way they can get Charlotte 15. She was at SummerSlam. She can fuck off again like Roman does. And then you've done its job and Io's your champ.
Yeah.
And then Io and Bayley, I think, will feud over that title leading into probably Survivor Series.
Yeah. Well, we need to talk about Shayna Baszler.
Yes. Yeah, I'll let you do this because you for the longest time didn't have a lot of good things to say about Shayna Baszler.
I was not a fan of Shayna Baszler. I am not a fan of the MMA fighters turned wrestlers. Mm-hmm. I don't like I just don't like that style of fighting. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like sometimes it seems like hurried, like rushed, like Ronda Rousey and Marina Shafir. They do the same thing where it's like they rush through, and it's like this isn't MMA. Like it's not like you're fighting to knock somebody out. Like this is like professional wrestling where it's more scripted, like more planned out. Well, I don't want to say more scripted. It's just more planned out. So like I've never been a fan of like the MMA fighters that come to WWE. However, there are a few. Like I don't dislike Brock Lesnar, but Brock's different. I feel like because he's been around wrestling forever.
He started in wrestling.
Yeah. But Shayna Baszler's one that I have come around to. I think it's because like she has done things in wrestling, which she pointed out this week, where she came out and she basically told Ronda Rousey that people are tired of trying to figure out what she's talking about on the mic. She says that Shayna said that she thought that she owed everybody an apology for bringing Ronda into the wrestling business, which I will take your apology, Shayna, if you want to apologize for that. And then she said that she paid her dues because Shayna did work in the indies. She worked NXT. She worked NXT, and then Ronda Rousey came in and just got a match on WrestleMania, which was a gripe of mine. So, like, basically, Shayna Baszler was saying everything that I think about Ronda Rousey. She said it to her face and made me, like, so happy. And now I want to be Shayna's best friend, and she's my spirit animal, and, like...
And what's funny is I feel like when this first happened, they kind of spun the narrative that Shayna was kind of the heel for turning on Ronda. But I kind of felt like her Raw promo was a babyface promo.
Because the crowd was behind her a little bit, and like...
Oh, I wouldn't say a little bit. The crowd was quite behind her.
As soon as she said that people like were trying to figure out what the hell Ronda's trying to say on the microphone, I was like, boom. Love you now. Because if you've watched past episodes... I'm going in hard on Ronda Rousey. So,
and I like the idea that Shayna is probably going to be the one to end Ronda's WWE career.
Yeah,
I like that. I think Shayna deserves that rub. Yeah. I think Shayna can do a lot with that rub. So I'm interested to see where this goes. I think these two could put on a good match. I think especially if it's Ronda's match and it's to put over Shayna, I think Ronda's going to put a lot into it to help her friend look good.
Maybe.
But I don't know that Shayna needs a lot of help to look good at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this will happen at SummerSlam, and that might be the end for Ronda.
There's been talk that her time's, like, she's going to be leaving WWE.
Yeah, and she's not interested in coming back, from what I understand.
I'm not sad about it. I kind of feel like, in a way, that she's kind of... It's kind of like her MMA career. She didn't get over like she wanted, so she's leaving.
Don't know. She works really well as a heel.
But she's not good at her job.
Okay, fair enough. And now I think we can go into what's going on with the tag titles themselves. Now, as far as the women's tag titles, we had a tag team turmoil match, but we had KC2, we had Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, who I really enjoy.
They're so good. I feel like they're the future of the women's tag team division if they don't break them up.
I feel like they are an example of what the women's tag teams could be if you give them time to gel.
Absolutely. They had this really cool move, I think, that Katana Chance did, I believe. Or I guess it was
there was a spot at one point in their spot in the match. And they were the last ones against Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, who ran the distance and won the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be upset about Chelsea Green getting a push.
Or Sonya Deville, because Sonya Deville's done her time.
Yeah, I like Sonya pretty well too.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't love her, I don't dislike her, but I feel like she deserves a chance.
Yeah, I don't lose anything by her being on TV.
No.
But yeah, Kaden Carter had, I think it was Chelsea Green that ended up taking this. Chelsea Green was up on Kaden Carter's shoulders on the top turnbuckle, or on the, like, Kaden Carter was sitting there. I think it was a sitting position, and then Chelsea was sitting on top of her. And Kaden Carter jumped from the side rope, hit a Hurricane Rana onto Chelsea Green, down onto the ring, and it looked beautiful.
It was awesome.
And it looked really, really cool.
Women need to do more stuff like this. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to, I don't know, like, they need to do more stuff to get over. I feel
like Carter and Chance have a very exciting in-ring style for women.
It's very much like how the women are on NXT, though.
Yeah.
On NXT, the women do a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sonya and Chelsea Green won, and we're going to get them against Liv and Raquel. And I will give credit. There were 6 teams involved in this. There were 5 tag teams in the turmoil match, and then you had Liv and Raquel observing. Mm-hmm. And I'll give WWE credit. I think there were 3 out of those 6 teams involved that have been together for longer than a couple months.
Which is good, because they don't do very well. But especially, like, tag teams in general. I feel like they don't do that well with it.
Vince doesn't like tag team wrestling.
But Vince is not supposed to be there.
So, the IC title, it's going to be Gunther and McIntyre at SummerSlam. That's kind of been telegraphed. Riddle's kind of still sticking around. Him and Drew are going to team up to kind of fight Imperium. I think this would be a good opportunity to turn Matt Riddle heel. I think it's time for Matt Riddle to do something different.
Well, also, we need Matt Riddle and his woman are having a baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so congrats to them.
Yeah.
But let's keep our life in order, though, Matt Riddle.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. For the U.S. title, Austin Theory beat Sheamus on SmackDown. I like the Brutes.
Pretty Deadly came and helped.
Yeah, I like the Brutes. I like Pretty Deadly working with Austin Theory. I'm ready for these guys to be done with each other.
Yes.
I'm going to say it. I'm not alone here. Austin Theory should drop the U.S. title at SummerSlam to LA Knight. Honest to God, he should. Tell me why not.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No. Oh, you thought I was going to say, tell me when I'm telling lies.
Yeah.
Tag titles, there's not much to talk about. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn weren't on TV this week.
No.
They were in a dark match on SmackDown, I believe, and now that they've beat Pretty Deadly, they don't seem to have a challenger moving forward unless, well, now Drew and Riddle are kind of with Imperium, so I don't even know who we're looking at to take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I have no idea.
I have no clue.
I would say Alpha Academy, but they seem to be faces.
Bloodline, so, like, I don't know the other stories because the focus is just on the bloodline, it seems like.
And those 2 were involved in that story for so long.
Yeah.
But it seems like they might finally be done with it, except in a kind of referential way.
Yeah.
Because they weren't directly involved with anything this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested to see who their new challengers end up being. Like I said, I would say Alpha Academy, but they seem to be kind of gearing more towards being face.
Which Alpha Academy had a win. Maxine Dupree got the win.
Listen, I know Maxine still looks green as hell, but she's
not
the
it.
perfect.
She's no Ava.
She's the perfect character though for that.
She
'Cause
is.
she's literally in the confines of the story learning.
Yes.
And the crowd being so behind Maxine was so great. Like
she did like the
she had everybody in the palm of her
which
hand.
you can't see it, but there is a shoosh up there. It's just
Yes.
not on camera. But
I love whoever decided to put Maxine with Alpha Academy. Give that person a raise.
probably the same person used to didn't know what they're doing because they didn't book LA Knight.
One's on Raw, one's on SmackDown.
Okay.
But anyway, whoever thought to put that together, give them a raise or send them a goodie basket or something, because that's been a lot of fun, Maxine, with those two. And I love how she's, like, before, like, it was kind of going to be like she was going to take Otis away.
Yeah.
That story would have been okay,
What
but
happened?
I enjoyed this much
What
better.
happened to the models?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know.
Mansoor? No.
Mansoor and Massey. But yeah, I don't know what happened to them, but this pairing with Maxine and the Alpha Academy has been fun.
I really like them together.
Yeah, and I love
goofy, but like I like that Alpha Academy's winning things because they deserve it.
I love the little stuff that she did too. Like whenever she's getting ready to her suplex, she like pointed at Gable.
Yes.
These three are so wholesome and so fun together, and I want to see them succeed.
Maxine's like hot girl summer coming through with like the goofy Otis and Chad Gable and
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. I really like this trio.
yeah.
Then Ricochet. It looks like Ricochet and Logan Paul are going to be the ones to kind of branch off into a post Money in the Bank feud. A lot of people thought it was going to be LA Knight and Paul based on the promos before, but Ricochet. I saw that pencil just keep breaking.
I know.
It seems like Ricochet and Logan Paul is going to be where they're going, which good for Ricochet. That'll be a great spotlight match for him, and he deserves it.
And I hate Logan Paul as a person, and I can only have hatred in my heart for one wrestler at a time. So, I don't dislike Logan Paul. It
As a
kills
wrestler.
me as a wrestler.
Yeah.
And I can only hate one wrestler at a time, and right now that's designated for CM Punk. Honestly, I don't know if that's ever going to fucking change. But, like...
It will if Vince becomes an on-screen character again.
I might have enough room in my heart. I might have enough room for, like, to hate two people at that point in wrestling.
Great rub for Ricochet. That'll be a fun feud for him to go into. Just a couple more things here that I wanted to bring up. Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch, their feud still continuing.
I'm ready for them to, like, go their separate ways, but when they do
will after
promos
SummerSlam.
against each other, they have good promos. Like, Trish came off the broken nose this week, and it was just... I don't know. They have good promos together, but I'm kind of getting bored with them.
Well, they've been doing it since right after WrestleMania.
I just don't know if they know what else to do with Becky Lynch because, like, she's a pretty high-profile person who's there every week, unlike Charlotte Flair, and, like, she doesn't need a title, but what do you do with her if she doesn't have a title?
I think what we're going to end up doing with Becky is I think we're going to end up kind of just trying to find something for her to do to keep her on TV and keep her over and let it cook for... I think there's a distinct possibility she's going to win the Royal Rumble and challenge Rhea.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's a
I
possibility.
mean, they keep kind of, like, hinting at that, so...
But at the same time, I think Becky's in that realm of Charlotte where she doesn't need something like the Royal Rumble.
I agree. Like, I don't know why. Because, like, with the men, you just need to give the women more time. Because the men, you have so many men, and not everybody has a title shot, but they're still on TV and still meaningful things. So, like, I feel like it's okay, WWE. You can move past Trish and Becky Lynch, and they'll both be fine on their own. Like, they don't need to have a title around their waist. Just give them time on the show, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, you have 5 hours of content to work with between the two. Surely you can find something.
Yeah.
You know, unless the Bloodline takes up 40 minutes of it. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about that happened on SmackDown that was significant because, yes, AJ Styles and Karrion Kross had a match, but it definitely feels like it was like, oh shit, we have 5 minutes to fill. You two go out and fight.
Yeah.
There wasn't much to it.
No.
Edge and Grayson Waller had a segment on the Grayson Waller effect where Grayson kind of teased that Edge was retiring and Edge is like, I'm not retiring.
Edge just looked so pissed off. He was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I am not doing that.
So then they ended up having a match later in the show. It was the match right before the Bloodline segment. I would have been fine if Edge and Waller would have main evented SmackDown and that'd have been it. I'd have been fine with that.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was a really good match.
It was. It was better than I expected.
And it tells you what they think of Grayson Waller. Because literally Grayson Waller's main roster debut was a match against Edge in essentially the main event of SmackDown from Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena in the world. And Waller put in a damn good show.
Yeah.
And Edge gave him the rub after the match.
Right, because Edge's whole thing before was you're either going to sink or swim.
Mm-hmm.
And after the match, Edge looked at Waller and was like, "You're going to swim."
Yeah, he said you swam, and then left.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's a really cool spot for Grayson Waller, and that's somebody that if they give him anything to do, he's going to run with it.
Yes.
He's absolutely going to run with it, and he's fantastic.
For sure.
And I think he's still pretty young. I want to say he's still in his 20s.
Yeah. Well, the last thing, though, before we move on from, like, the main roster is I want to touch on Ciampa.
Okay.
Ciampa and Miz, they're kind of doing their feud, and they both had a really good promo against each other.
Yeah, Ciampa did his sitting in a room in a chair backwards promos from NXT.
And they're going to have a no DQ match next week, and I think that'll be fun because I'm hoping that'll bring back NXT Ciampa, like that intensity that he had on NXT.
Yeah. And I would love to see it bring something else out of the Miz too.
Right. Yeah, I mean the Miz, they've let the Miz like show more. He's like had more time in matches. He's looked better in matches. So like he doesn't seem, to me at least, like he's just this like jobber.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I think now that they're both on Raw, I think you could tell a really good story of the Miz finding his edge in this Ciampa feud, and Miz seeing that the Intercontinental title's on Raw. He only needs one to tie Jericho's record for Intercontinental title reigns. I would love to see kind of this little, maybe like a Royal Rumble feud where Miz like gets himself all worked up and gets himself good showings, and he goes after Gunther because he wants that record.
Yeah.
And I think those two could put on a really fun match at the Royal Rumble, and if you make Miz credible enough, I think the story will translate. Gunther will beat him, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think you could really do a lot for The Miz with that. I think there's still more that The Miz can do.
I agree. I think Miz is very good at what he does. His in-ring style, again, I kind of relate it to Roman's in-ring style. It's very typically safe. It's very, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, it works for Miz because he's never injured.
Absolutely fine. Yeah, and that's absolutely fine. It's just not my cup of tea. So I feel like Miz is more gimmicky for me, but I do think he's good at his job.
Yeah. So, I think that covers everything main roster WWE. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
All right, so NXT this week. NXT was a lot of fun this week.
It's always a lot of fun.
I really enjoy NXT. I look forward to NXT. It's funny because when we first started this, we didn't know anything about NXT. It was one that we kind of didn't want to watch.
It was very confusing. Like you can tell if you go back and watch the earlier episodes when we first started, because we were like, we don't understand NXT. Like, there's too many stories. Like, we can't keep track of everything. So, but now it gives us good stories week after week. Sometimes they don't hit.
I hate the sound of my voice on video, but I would love to go back and kind of research the old episodes and find the one where it finally seems like we understood NXT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I want to find that moment, because now it's like, now we love it. And that's what I tell everybody. I'm like, give NXT a chance, but when you do, give it a couple weeks.
Because you're like, it's not, the people on NXT, you don't really know them unless you watch NXT. So, like, I think that kind of deters people. I know that deterred us, because we were like, we don't know anybody. But it got good. Yeah,
now we've learned everybody, and it's just a lot of fun.
Well, let's jump in and start talking about matches.
So Mello doesn't seem like he's, at the time of the show, it didn't seem like he really had a challenger moving forward for the title. It seems like he's still picking a fight with Judgment Day, which is fine. Judgment Day going across both shows and feuding with both major world champions. That's a big deal for Judgment Day.
Yeah.
So Mello seems to be going to feud with the Judgment Day, and I said he didn't seem to have a viable challenger, but in the main event segment, Braun Breaker was confronted by Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah.
And those two got in a pull-apart brawl.
So many people came out.
Shawn Michaels put on Twitter that Braun and Ilya are going to fight next week, and the winner is going to face Mello at the Great American Bash at the end of the month. I smell a triple threat.
Yeah.
Plus, yeah. I'm done with Breaker and Mello.
Britt Baker?
Breaker.
I thought you said
Mello.
Britt Baker.
No, I stuttered when I said Breaker. I'm done with Breaker and Mello at this point. I think we need to move on. I think you can do something else with Braun. He doesn't have to be in the title picture.
Yeah, I agree.
If you don't have anything else for him to do in NXT, then just let him go to the main roster. He's ready.
Yes, he is.
With his heel character, he's ready.
Yes.
The North America title is still circling around Wesley, Tyler Bate, Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali and Tyler Bate had a match that was pretty good this week.
Ali beat him.
Ali did beat him.
Tyler Bate. And then he said he wanted to match against Wesley for a North American Championship.
Yeah. So that's on the table, but I also smell a triple threat with them.
I do too, yeah.
And I think that triple threat
it'll be awesome. Those are all three really good wrestlers. Mustafa Ali is so underappreciated, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think people forget how talented he is because he's booked like shit on the main roster.
Yeah.
Remember what was it, free hashtag, like, what was the hashtag that was trending for a little bit?
Free Ali when he wanted his release. Yeah. Yes. I remember that.
So we support you, Ali.
Yeah, Ali's a great talent.
He is, and he's such a nice guy.
Yeah. On the women's side of things, Tiffany, I've liked Tiffany Stratton's reign so far for the simple fact that people are stepping up to her that have never been in the title picture.
Like Thea Hale.
Thea Hale, and this week they're building something with her and Ivy Nile, who's never been in the title picture.
Yeah.
So I like that we're taking a fresh champ and giving her fresh contenders.
Yes.
I like that. This is the shit that makes me love NXT.
Yes.
And you know what?
It's not expected. Because honestly, with all the title changes, we didn't guess anything correctly. Mm-hmm. Like, we did not guess at all correctly what was going to happen with the titles on NXT, which I like that. Mm-hmm. I like being a nice swerve in wrestling. I hate when it's predictable.
Yeah. So, Stratton and Nile, that match will be good. I'll be interested to see more of Ivy Nile. Usually the matches she has are pretty short, so I'd like to see her get a good showing in. I think she's capable.
In her defense, she had a match. I don't mean to sound bitchy about Ava again and Schism. It's not like she's had the greatest competitors. I mean, Taylor Paxley's not that bad of a wrestler, I don't think.
No,
But Ava, she's green. She needs work.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I like the fresh challengers.
Yes.
Speaking of unexpected, the Creeds and the Dyad had a tag team match. It was a loser leaves NXT match. Mm-hmm. And the Dyad won.
Dyad from Schism, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know that anybody saw that coming.
No, and the thing is, so like now I'm like, what are the Creed brothers going to the main roster?
I'd be fine with that.
I would be. Yes.
I've seen a couple ideas for pitches where people think that Braun and the Creeds should go up as a stable to the main roster. I've seen where people would like to see the Creeds work with Alpha Academy and like go from there. Like have the Creeds be a part of the Alpha Academy.
It would make them more interesting to me.
Yeah, and it could make them a legitimate threat. Like you could legitimize Alpha Academy with that.
I feel like Creed brothers, they are good at what they do. Mm-hmm. I find them boring, but I can admit that they're good in the ring.
But just like we talked about where, pairing like Zoe Stark with Trish and Becky, who don't have much personality, is going to help her. The Creed, Otis and Chad Gable have all the personality in the world.
They definitely do, especially Chad Gable.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want them to develop character...
And Maxine has quite a lot of personality, too.
She does.
She's just low-key personality. It comes out when it needs to.
Yeah. You could even tell a fun story there where Maxine's kind of more drawn to the Creeds and Gable starts to get jealous.
Where does that leave Ivy Nile? Like, is Ivy Nile, because she's part of that, is she just going to get left on NXT?
She might, or...
Because she could get caught up also.
Or if you do the Alpha Academy thing, she could be...
Like, help Maxine more?
Yeah, she could be, like, if there's a falling out, and the Creeds need somebody on their side, and Alpha Academy has Maxine, they can have Ivy Nile.
True.
So I think...
Because I feel
that's a big hypothetical.
That's even if they put this together. I do feel like Ivy Nile is ready to get called up, from what I've seen. Mm-hmm. She's just jacked AF, so, like... Mm-hmm. She's short but jacked.
Yeah. I think the Creeds are ready.
I think so.
I
just hate that stupid gorilla walk.
I haven't seen
I don't know what it is about that. I don't pay attention when they come in because I don't want to see it.
Oh.
So like, I just hate that walk. I don't know what it is about that gorilla.
I love the random things that grind your gears. like Brutus Creed's gorilla walk sends you into a rage. I don't get it. I don't. Speaking of, we brought up Thea Hale earlier. Andre Chase is back.
Yeah.
And it seems like Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak are out.
What? Andre Chase said no more help from Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak.
Mm-hmm. I want to know where this is going because we've teased Duke
we
turning.
Are struggling to talk.
I have a sore on the side of my tongue. It's not helping. Aww. We teased Duke turning.
Right, and that
Duke seems pretty happy that Andre Chase is back.
Yeah.
I mean, would Thea turn? I don't know. Because that wouldn't make any sense because Dempsey and Gulak cost Thea her shot at Tiffany Stratton.
True, and she was telling him not to cheat.
Yeah.
Thea Hale's just so innocent. I can't see her being a heel, but by God, that'd be the best swerve in history. Well, maybe not in history, but it would be a good swerve because she's just so extra hyper cheerleader. She does her gimmick very well.
I kind of feel like, and what I love about the idea of Thea joining sides with Dempsey and Gulak is it's kind of, I feel like Dempsey and Gulak are kind of NXT's version of the Blackpool Combat Club with less violence. And it just makes me think of what Thea Hale would be like in the Blackpool Combat Club, and it just cracks me up to no end.
See, I just have a soft spot for Thea Hale because she came from like an indie promotion that does shows so like 30 minutes away from us. So I have such a soft spot for her.
Yeah.
And it just amazes me that Thea Hale was scouted probably in just a local mall that we've gone to wrestling shows at, which is mind blowing.
I don't know if she was scouted or if she went to Florida and tried out.
Well, either way, just the fact that she was just from this like little promotion, a good promotion. Rise Wrestling is a very good promotion. People should check out. They have very talented stars. The Great Alexander.
You always shout him out.
He made such a lasting impression on me.
So yeah, that's what's going on with Chase U. The D'Angelo Stacks Gallus saga is I don't even know what's going on anymore.
It's just too much for me. It is just too soap opera.
So now they're having a match where it's going to be Stacks versus Joe Coffey. And if Joe Coffey wins, Tony D'Angelo goes to trial. And if Stacks wins, Tony D'Angelo gets released, which that's not how laws work. But, you know, in the land of NXT, I'll buy it.
It's like it's purge land.
I'll buy it. I'll buy it in NXT. NXT is a strange enough land where that would fly.
I guess.
Like, if you look at it in its own little area.
For me, it's just, I understand it's a TV show, but the way you're having the match go is just so unrealistic to me. It's like, I'm sorry, you are not going to get out of going to jail because you win a freaking match. Like, so it's just too far out for me.
And the fact that they're kind of teasing that Stacks is going to turn on Tony. And
I'm fine with the turn.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
I think that's great because he was like, what did he call him? His cousin. Is that what the mafia calls people close to them? Cousins?
They're just family.
Family, okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I like that. It's just all these extra layers. Why did D'Angelo have to go to jail whenever Stacks is in? He's there for everything.
I'm wondering if, like, D'Angelo has an injury or something.
Maybe, but goodness gracious. Now, it's just too out there for me.
He did mess up that phone, though, pretty good. That he was listening in on. He destroyed the phone after. He messed that phone up pretty good.
Well, it doesn't matter. He'll just get out if he wins the match.
Yeah.
No matter the destruction along the way and the people he's murdered.
Yeah.
And kayfabe land.
But there's two more things I want to talk about when it comes to NXT. Number one is a subject that you're always happy to talk about. Noam Dar.
Noam Dar, he's just obsessed with the Heritage Cup. So this week, we got him. He was just so sad, just talking about how much the cup just meant so much to him.
And it was like he was talking to the cup.
Yes.
And I expected to pan out, and it was like the cup was going to be there.
That mofo had just a picture of the Heritage Cup that he was talking to. Like, the cup was right there, and he was talking about how much he loved it, and he was going to get it back. And I was like, I love this man so much. Like, I just love Noam Dar.
He's so goofy.
He is. I love it. I love his little like pigtails that he has. I don't know what it is. I will say the people that he's with, I don't know if I like them or not.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they're taking time away from my beloved Noam Dar. Because no offense to like Lash Legend and the other two people that he's with. I don't remember their names. But like, I just don't really care about them yet.
Yeah.
They've got to give me something else. Like right now, it's all they're doing is just like trying to pump Noam Dar up after he lost. So like, give me another reason to like them. I only like Lash Legend because it makes me think of false lashes, and I think that sounds pretty, so I like her name. That's why I remember her.
And you talked about the Tony D'Angelo thing being convoluted.
What? That's why I like Lash Legend?
Yeah, that's a very strange explanation. And the last thing I want to talk about is it seems like Baron Corbin is going to be doing a complete repackaging.
Yeah, because he like burned his old gimmicks.
Yeah, he burned all of his old stuff.
Yes.
He said something about he thought the return to the Lone Wolf was going to help, but that's not going to do anything, so he's burning his Lone Wolf stuff. Happy Corbin, King Corbin, Sad Corbin, Constable Corbin. Good Lord, the man's had a lot of gimmicks.
Which, good for Corbin, because if it's, he had new music this week.
Did he? I thought he just had the video package.
No, he had new music because he came out. We were like, yes, new music. The Lone Wolf is back. We literally said that.
That was when he fought Carmelo last week.
That wasn't this week?
No.
Oh, shit.
That was when he fought Carmelo last week.
Oh, shit.
Because him burning the Lone Wolf stuff this week was a result of him losing last week.
Oh, my God. I just literally combined the 2 weeks of wrestling together in my head.
Yeah.
So Baron didn't even have a match this week?
No, he had a vignette where he was burning all of his stuff.
Oh, my God.
All his old gimmicks.
How did I butcher that so much?
I don't know.
Because there's too much. Yeah. Too much.
But now I'm interested to see, because now his thing is going to be no more gimmicks. So I wonder what version of Baron Corbin we're going to get on the other side.
Right.
And if it's just going to be like one of his other gimmicks just dial back.
Yeah.
Like Lone Wolf dial back or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Baron Corbin. So that summed up NXT. NXT, I think Great American Bash is shaping up to be pretty good. I'm pretty excited for it. So we'll see what happens.
Yes.
So we ready to talk about AEW?
Absolutely.
All right, so AEW, normally we would start with like the main titles, but 2 of the singles titles are involved in the Blind Eliminator Tag Tournament, which is
too many tournaments going on right now in AEW. I'm getting confused. I know there's only 2, but they're going the same time.
Well, if you count the women, there's 3, but yeah.
Well, it's just, I'm getting confused. Too many. Let's just have one tournament at a time.
And my thing is the blind tag eliminator tournament doesn't feel very blind.
It doesn't. Everybody has connections.
Yeah. Like this week we have, or on Dynamite, we're going to have Adam Cole and MJF take on Brian Cage and Big Bill. Brian Cage and Big Bill is kind of random, but they're also both big guys.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the bracket, we're going to have Sammy and Darby taking on, or not Sammy and Darby, Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin taking on Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
Which
Darby and Orange Cassidy beat Swerve and Keith Lee.
Yeah.
To move on.
Yeah, and Adam Cole and MJF beat
Daddy Magic and Butch.
Thank you. Butcher.
Butch. Oh my God!
The
yes,
Butcher,
the Butcher. Oh man, I was thinking of Butch from. Yes.
Yeah. But one thing that is kind of interesting though is it definitely seems like the Jericho Appreciation Society might be on its way out.
I think so.
Because Jericho was talking about how they weren't always going to be able to be on his wing.
Well, that's because you kind of left out a big part of why we were talking about that. So Don Callis asked Jericho to join his faction, and Jericho was just like, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, maybe.
Yeah, because he told Callis, he said, I don't join factions, I make factions, which is what he's done from the first day.
But he's talking about how he needs to make a change.
Yeah, and him being a part of something else, I think would be interesting for him because I feel like he's been faction leader since day 1 of Dynamite.
Yeah.
And I think it would be interesting to see him, even if he doesn't join Don Callis, just to do something on his own because I definitely feel like Jericho's kind of on the back end.
I very much hope that this does mean Jericho Appreciation Society is breaking up. However, I don't know what's going to happen to like the Jake Hager or Daddy Magic and Cool Hand. Like they're not that over.
I don't really worry about Guevara and Garcia.
No. No.
Because they've both found ways to get themselves
Yes.
over. Garcia's is his ridiculous dancing, and God help me, I love it when he starts just working. Like he gets so into it.
He does. It's so awkward looking. He's not a good dancer, but I love it.
I love that he puts 150,000% into
Yes.
it.
And Sammy Guevara, hate him or love him, you have to admit he's fucking talented. But I know, like, I feel like Daddy Magic and Cool Hand maybe could get over because I like their gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
But like maybe switch it up a little bit. I don't know. I don't feel like Jake Hager is going to make it without a Jericho.
I feel like Daddy Magic and Angelo Parker might end up on Ring of Honor.
They would fit in there. Are they already on there a lot, actually?
I'm not sure.
I
We don't watch Ring of Honor,
so
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But I agree with that, yeah.
I do know that Claudio's next challenger for his title is Mark Briscoe. I think that's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that covers that one and that one. So on the other side, the Owen Hart tournament. So the Owen Hart tournament, a lot of it's happened on Collision.
Yeah.
So
we don't really get to cover Collision on here, but
no, but I'll still mention it because I mean, there's Collision's good. I mean, when we watched it, Collision's good.
It is good. It's like, it's not great. It's only like the third or fourth episode. It's not going to be this like amazing show. They're building stories. They're building feuds. Like, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and it definitely seems like the cornerstone of Collision right now is the feud between CM Punk and Jay White.
Yeah.
Kind of seems like the cornerstone of it.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Owen Hart tournament, so the matches that we have that are set for the semifinals for the men is we're going to have CM Punk and Samoa Joe, which that match will be good. There's a lot of history there. AEW's played up that history, and I love Samoa Joe, so I'm down. And on the other side, you have Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, who fought
forever.
Yeah, they're always interconnected with each other. But it's been so long since they fought each other, it feels almost fresh.
Not to me.
Almost.
I feel like I just saw this 2 or 3 times already.
And I'm really interested to see. I know they're going to have Punk beat Joe because the whole story has been that Punk's never beat Joe. I think CM Punk will win the whole thing. The question is will he beat Hobbs as a babyface or will he beat Starks as a heel? That's the question.
That's probably going to depend on the crowd, too.
Yeah. I mean, it's been pretty safe to say so far with the episodes of Collision is Punk is a heel outside of Chicago.
Yeah. Which makes me happy.
Well, I won't even say that. I would say he's a tweener that leans heel outside of Chicago. So the women's Owen Hart tournament, so the matches we have coming up for that, we have Athena and Willow Nightingale, which should be good. And then we have Ruby Soho and Sky Blue. Yes. It's the semifinals for that.
Because Ruby beat
Britt Baker.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she had help from the Outcast. But I will say, Britt Baker, she's been looking pretty spry here lately. Mm-hmm. I don't think her back's been hurting her as much. Mm-hmm. She's very much... I'm starting to enjoy her matches again. Mm-hmm. For the longest time, I was very bored. Like, it was like she was moving in slow motion. But then I found out she was in pain. So, like, I understood better.
Yeah.
But...
I feel like what we're going to do is we're going to have Ruby Soho win the Owen Cup. So she's going to have the Owen Cup to carry around. Toni Storm's going to have the Women's Championship to carry around. Maybe Saraya goes after Statlander?
Maybe. I don't want Saraya to win, though. I love Saraya. I just don't think she's what she was before. Mm-hmm. But I get it. Like, she was out of the ring for years. Mm-hmm. So, like, I get it, but... I don't know. I think it'd be okay if she didn't have a championship title or anything, but...
Oh, I'm not saying that she'll win it. I'm just saying she might go for it.
Yeah.
I think her losing could be an interesting wrinkle to the Outcasts where they start treating her as an outcast of the Outcasts.
Oh.
But
she started this.
But it's...
That's her house.
But, and I hate to say it, it's AEW and Tony Khan. They're not going to tell that interesting of a story with the women.
No, they won't.
And that's not the women's fault.
It's because I don't think Tony Khan understands women wrestling. I don't understand why people don't get women wrestling. It's literally wrestling, except they have a vagina.
I think Tony Khan is to women's wrestling like Vince is to tag team wrestling. I just don't think he gets the appeal. I don't think it's something that he's really all that into. It kind of feels like he does it because he knows that he should as a major promotion. Is kind of the vibe I get.
It does. And then it kind of falls on, like, the EVPs and, like, other people that's more, like, backstage also to be like, Tony, hey, the women are valuable also. Let's let's make them better.
Yeah.
Let's elevate
And
them.
I see the argument where people have said, well, AEW doesn't have any women stars.
I disagree.
And somebody's like, well, yeah, you can make them a star if you give them more than 5 minutes a week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People just come out of the womb and wrestling a star. You have to make them a star. And it's the same for the women too.
Now, there are some out there that can do a lot with a very little amount of time. That's how Sami Zayn got where he is.
Yeah. Becky Lynch
got there. That's how LA Knight's where he's at.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it can be done, but you have to put the machine behind them to do it, or they have to be on another level to get there on their own, and that's a hard level to be at. Especially
if you're not, like, letting them showcase.
Yeah.
So, like, AEW might not have, like, the star power right now that WWE has, but that's AEW's fault.
Yeah. I don't blame the women.
No, because they are talented. Watch them in the indies, and you will see that they are talented. There are some hardcore women in wrestling. You just wouldn't even realize it because they're so watered down once they get to AEW and WWE. But you just got to give them time.
Yeah. NXT does pretty right by the way.
NXT does great. Raw does pretty good also, honestly.
Yeah, since Rhea got a legit match this week, yeah.
Yeah, but there's usually, isn't there like other women's stuff going on though?
WWE's actually been doing pretty well booking the women's tag division.
They have.
Which is really weird because that was always, it felt like an afterthought.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they've spent so much energy booking that the world title feuds have felt a little lackluster.
Yeah.
Which is, it's funny, but... So yeah, that's what's going on with the two big tournaments that AEW has going on right now. Okay, so the other big story going on AEW right now, and I would argue is probably the biggest story going on, is the Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite. Now we've got some Dark Order peppered in.
I start to get tired of them feuding, but then they bring in like another person, and it's like, okay, Dark Order, all right.
Yeah.
But it's Dark
Same
Order.
thing happened with Eddie Kingston.
But he's gone. I feel like Dark Order is going to be gone. I just am kind of ready for this feud to be over.
I think Blood and Guts it will be. And then I think we're going to pivot to Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley feuding.
Or Claudio.
They did that in Ring of Honor.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Recently?
It was Claudio's last major match.
But that was a while ago.
To defend the title.
That was a while ago.
It was a month or two.
And you mean his first time in Ring of Honor or now?
Now.
I thought you meant his first time in Ring of Honor.
No, now. Yeah, Eddie Kingston just fought Claudio for the title like a month or two ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, I don't know what goes on in Ring of Honor.
Plus, it definitely feels like with Renee getting involved last week, it definitely feels like it's pivoting toward Kingston and Moxley.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And that'll be fun. I'm always up for Eddie Kingston on my TV.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, but on Rampage, though, we saw... Well, did anything happen with them on Dynamite? We had Wheeler Yuta and Omega had a match, and that was really good.
Yeah, it was a pretty good match. I found out Wheeler got a hamstring injury in the match.
Oh.
But I don't think it's supposed to be very serious.
Yeah.
So he should be good to go for Blood and Guts.
Well, at the very end, so like with that match, though, you had like Callis and Takeshita come out, and then you had like Bucks and Hangman came out to help out, and then at the very, very last second on Dynamite, you had the Dark Order run out to the ring, and they took a chair that Hangman was going to like hit somebody from the BCC with, and it was like very last second, like
it was. I think Dynamite ran over.
I think it did.
Yeah.
Which sucks for Dark Order because they never get on the show.
Yeah.
But then again, like on Rampage, though, we had Dark Order versus
the Humbucks again.
Humbucks.
This time, the Dark Order won. I mean, Takeshita helped.
Well, for those that don't know what the Humbucks are, Hangman Adam Page and Young Bucks.
But yeah, they got help winning from Takeshita and Claudio.
Yes.
And then Omega came out to make the save. Dark Order just left because Dark Order was literally like...
They're looking very heelish, and I'm here for this.
And see, here's the thing is I don't think Dark Order's in the wrong.
No.
I think Dark Order has a legit gripe.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah. As far as the tag titles, FTR and Bullet Club Gold are going to fight actually tonight. And if Bullet Club Gold wins, which is Jay White, Juice Robinson, they'll get a shot at FTR's titles. I'm not the biggest fan of the Eliminator match, but both AEW and WWE do it, so
I don't understand it.
Basically, if you beat the champion, then you get a shot at the title.
Like, I understand that, but, like, you beat the champion. You beat them. Like, why do we have to have the eliminator thing? They're just going to fight you again to lose. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah,
it's very redundant.
I'm not a big fan of it either.
No.
Speaking of titles being defended, this is a Collision story. And I know House of Black is feuding with Andrade, but House of Black has a trios title. We need a trio to defend against. So I'm interested to see who joins up with Andrade.
Yeah.
Especially since they seem to be pushing him as more of a babyface.
He just wants his damn mask back.
He's been separated now from Roosh and Preston Vance.
Yeah.
Like, he's so far removed from them. We haven't seen Jose. We haven't seen any of them since Andrade has been back.
No.
So I'm interested to see who he gets to kind of help him in this mission.
Yeah.
The Acclaimed and QTV is another feud that seems to be kind of going.
Now they have Johnny TV there.
Yeah.
So the funniest thing though on Rampage, okay, we like busted out laughing.
Yeah.
So they showed this clip during QTV of Johnny TV. He was like listening to the Acclaim music. He threw it up in this like phone, I think. He threw it up in the air. He kicked it right into a trash can. He just looks at the camera and just goes, trash. And that was
the end of the segment.
Why was that? That was just so hilarious to us that like we like legit busted out laughing.
I think part of it was that it caught us off guard how funny it was.
Like, I wasn't expecting it to be so simple.
Yeah.
Like, for him to just kick it and just go trash. Like, I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't either.
Plus, I'm like, Harley Cameron is like I'm really starting to love her.
Yeah.
Like, there's just she's so funny to me. She's still going after Bowens. She's still on Anthony Bowens. And it's very funny because she mentioned that during QTV. I think it was QTV.
Yeah, and even QT Marshall kind of gave her a look like,
like, okay.
Were you not watching?
I thought we already established that Anthony Bowens is gay. He had literally had the crowd chant, "He's gay to you."
What I'm worried is that was such a nice moment when it happened. I'm scared to death AEW is trying to milk it for all it's worth.
See, my thing was, I hope that it never comes out of Harley's mouth, oh, I'm going to make him straight. I don't want that to come out of her mouth. That's I find that very, if I was a gay individual and like I heard that, I'd be like, you're just perpetuating what a lot of Christian values are saying, that you can be turned straight or something can change you.
I'm guessing if that idea was pitched and it was brought to Bowens would shoot it down.
That's good. Because do you not feel like that'd be pretty insensitive?
It also could show her ignorance, which is kind of what they're playing up.
That's
she's
true.
Ignorant.
I just feel like that'd be such a cringy moment, and I don't want to see that whenever they've been so progressive about him coming out and being open.
I'm not going to say ignorant because she's not doing anything. Oblivious is a better word.
Yeah.
That's a better word to use.
Yeah.
Because ignorant would imply she's being intolerant or something.
Yeah.
We didn't even go to into the women's titles because nothing's really going on with them. Toni Storm's just kind of riding her title out. I don't think she has a contender right now.
No.
And Chris
Where the
Statlander,
heck is Jamie Hayter been? Oh wait, she's still
hurt.
hurt. She's hurt. That's true. I forgot.
And Chris Statlander has pretty much said, like, anybody that wants it, I'm going to fight all the time.
She's doing like her best friends did. She said.
Yeah. Which
best
friends
have
never had a title to defend.
Orange Cassidy is part of the best friends though.
True. Okay.
Yeah, and he does the open champion.
Are they still together? Statlander and Cassidy?
No. I don't think they've been together for years.
Oh, okay.
Were they dating?
I don't know.
I think they might just be best friends.
Oh, okay.
Because she's with somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Boys and girls can be best friends.
I know this. Anyway, so Statlander's put it out there in the universe that she'll fight anybody at any time, which that's fine. Let her do some open challenges and go from there. TNT title, didn't mention that earlier. It's hanging out over on Collision. I really like the idea that Christian is like the delusional champion, even though Luchasaurus is the real champion. I think that's something that Christian makes gold out of everything.
He does.
Christian Cage is so good at his job.
I love Christian Cage.
So good at his
I
job.
would love to meet Christian Cage, but I don't want him to be like in gimmick. That's why I never want to meet MJF. Like, my self-esteem is already shit. I don't need to meet MJF to make it worse. So, like, I wouldn't want Christian to be...
MJF might send you into a full-on crisis.
I know. So,
and the last thing I want to touch on is Matt Hardy and Jeff Jarrett had their match against Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia on Rampage. And of course, Jarrett, his crew, did the beat down on Matt Hardy after they lost.
Yes.
And Ethan Page came out for the save. So now what I'm wondering is, are we turning Ethan Page face, or is Ethan Page just biding his time to stab Matt Hardy in the back
and
again?
this has been teased a lot on AEW's like social medias too.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, Ethan Page came out for the win. Was it out of obligation because his contract, or does he actually care?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm intrigued.
I am too. I think Ethan Page would work as a babyface, but I think at the same time
He would be better as a heel.
He's
just such a damn nice person.
His gimmick is easy for him to lean into as a heel.
It is.
Although, when he fought on Collision last week, he did cut a great promo against MJF.
I think he could do babyface just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could do either way. I just think we've never seen him as a babyface.
No. Except when we've met him in actual real circumstances. But that's about it. In that case, he's one of the biggest baby faces there is. But
yeah.
So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Ethan Page. My only thing is if he's going to turn on Matt Hardy, I feel like we've kind of beat this dead horse.
Yes.
But if he's going to be babyface alongside Matt Hardy, that's enough of a wrinkle that I'll let it ride out a little bit longer.
Yeah, you just got to do something different.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that pretty much covers AEW this week.
Wait.
What?
We did get to see RJ City.
Okay.
He was doing something. He was something.
He was cranking the blind illuminator tag participant.
RJ,
but all of them have been determined, so he doesn't have that job anymore.
RJ City, if you're the reason they've all been determined so shittily, I still love you.
I mean, that
sucks.
That would be the ultimate troll move of RJ City. Because I feel like RJ City's a troll.
Yeah. And people need to watch AEW this weekend. Tomorrow, Sunday. I guess this will be up on YouTube on Sunday, but MJF is going to be on AEW.
I saw a comment yesterday where somebody said it'd be really funny just to throw off RJ City if MJF was completely out of character.
Nice. Or if he's acting like he does with Adam Cole right now, because right now he threw that birthday party for Adam Cole after their...
Yeah, they're getting along.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, if he's that version of MJF that he is currently, hell yeah, I want to see that version on AEW.
We really didn't do that justice. We didn't talk about the birthday party segment, and
it was amazing. I think that's what you should definitely check that out if you missed it.
And I like their little vignettes where they were at the gym together and they're both realizing, wait, why am I being nice to him?
Yes.
I'm very intrigued. I'm really enjoying it.
And then you have Adam Cole telling Roderick Strong, he's not my friend. I have to work with him.
Yeah.
But yet, after the birthday match, or after the birthday celebration that MJF did, which MJF ended up getting pie in the face or cake in the face or something.
Yeah.
Because he meant to put Adam Cole's face in it, but Adam Cole knew what was coming and swerved and put his face in it. Mm-hmm. And even after that, Adam Cole knelt down beside MJF covered with cake. Oh, it was cake because everybody's eat the cake.
Yeah.
So he basically was okay, you did a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you. And
he call him friend? He said, thank you, my friend, and then he walked away.
Right? And I was just why is this so fucking wholesome? I know why it's so wholesome, because whenever MJF inevitably turns on Adam Cole, I'm going to be devastated, because I just love them together.
It has been a fun pairing.
It has.
It's been fun, too, because it's something completely different for MJF to do. And it's like they kind of tested the waters with Sammy to see if people would enjoy it, and when they found out that people did, they're going full bore with it with Adam Cole.
Yeah.
So I feel like doing it with Sammy Guevara was like a test run.
It was. And Adam Cole was just very perfect for it, because he's just so... How does he not crack up? I would be cracking up the whole time I was working, seeing MJF being so extremely pleasant. Mm-hmm. Because he literally started singing this a cappella song at one point in time, and I don't know, MJF is just great.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're definitely going to fight for the title down the road.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the ride down the road.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, but I would say this week, I think, I don't know, man, Raw was pretty good. NXT was pretty good.
I don't even know, honestly, what my show of the week will be. They were all pretty good. Probably my least favorite is probably SmackDown.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with that too.
I would say maybe... Raw just keeps flying by anymore for me.
Yeah. They seem to finally have a handle on how to pace Raw.
Yes, because it was just too damn long. It's still 3 hours, but it just seems like it flies by now.
Yeah.
So maybe Raw or NXT was my favorite show of the week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, that's going to cover this week. We will be back next week to cover the upcoming week for AEW, NXT, and WWE. Don't forget, if you liked what you heard and you're still here, like, subscribe, share the channel. Help us get those counts up. Help us out a lot. Plus, it would give us, incentive to do more creative things, do more content. But with that being said, there's a lot of wrestling. Go out there, find it, enjoy it, find what works for you. And then we'll see you guys next week.
Yes. Later.
Did you like that video? Like, subscribe, and comment to the Figures and Flippy Shit Wrestling Podcast. Oh, yeah!